and his angels in this glorious act of sending your salams and salutations on this immaculate personality of Rasulullah. Allah, notice the choice of words. Allah says, Yusalluna ala Nabi. Question. Allah describes Rasulullah in many different ways in the Quran. Allah calls him at times Taha, Yasin, Muhammad, Rasul, Abd. Why choose Nabi? Why? What is the reason? This is a perfect book. لا يأتيه الباطل من بين يديه. There is no gunjais, there is no possibility of a mistake. Each zair, zabar and pesh has been placed so perfectly in the Quran that the human race and all the creations of Allah will draw guidance from this book till the day of judgment. Why the choice of Nabi? Let us examine this inshaAllah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent his prophet to this world. We just mentioned at the beginning, when he came to this world, a voice came to Lady Amina telling her to call him Muhammad. So someone might say that he was given the name Muhammad when he came to this world. And so if Allah had used Yusalluna ala Muhammad, still accurate. Allah could have phrased it in an accurate way, it's still accurate. Somebody could stand and say that maybe Rasulullah became deserving of honor and praise of Allah when he came to this world. Yes, Allah then at the age of 40 orders Rasulullah to proclaim his risala, to start delivering the message. So officially he takes the office of risala at the age of 40. If Allah had said Yusalluna ala Rasul, somebody could have stood up and said, and as indeed as some Muslims say unfortunately, that he is only worthy of honor of Allah and the community when he is delivering the message at the age of 40 onwards. If Allah had used the word Abd, when was Rasulullah given the official word Abd? When Allah took him on Mi'raj. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanalladhi asra bi'abdihi. And this word Abd is the most beloved title of Rasulullah to him. When they asked him, what is the most beloved title to you? He said, to be known as the servant of Allah. That is why in Salah, you say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. The station of ubudiyyah of abd is greater than the station of risala. Yet Allah does not say, as yusalluna ala al-abd. Oh Allah, with all humility and humbleness, why are you using the word Nabi? Now let us read the verse once again. Allah says, Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu yusallun. The ya in yusallun testifies to the continuity of this action. Allah and his angels are continuously sending their salams and salutations on the Nabi. Allah says, if I had used Muhammad, you could have said he was from the day he was born. If I had used Rasul, you could have said from the day he proclaimed Risalat. If I had used the word Abd, you could have said from the day I took him on the ascension. But I have used the word Nabi. Now you go and find out. From the moment Rasulullah was Nabi, Allah is saying Allah has been, is, and will continue to send salams and salutations on this Muhammad who is a Nabi. Now where do we find? How long has Rasulullah been a Nabi? Ya Jabir, Rasulullah says, Kuntu Nabiyyan wa Adamu bayna al-ma'i wa-t-teen. Oh Jabir, I was a Nabi, I was a prophet when Adam's clay was still being mixed. Here the exegetes say that this does not mean that is when he became a prophet. No, he says, I was a prophet then. So Ya Rasulullah, when did you become a prophet? When did you become a Nabi? Here the Arabic poet Sayyid Ridha al-Hindi has a very beautiful piece of poetry that he documents in his diwan. Coincidentally, he has documented or he has composed some of the most beautiful pieces of poetry eulogizing the Ahl al-Bayt alayhimus salam, and particularly Imam al-Hussein in Karbala. In this piece of poetry celebrating the birth of Rasulullah, Sayyid Ridha al-Hindi says, Nabiyyun barahu Allahu nuran bi'arshihi وَمَا كَانَ شَيْءٌ فِي الْخَلِيقَةِ يُوجَدُ. Here he is trying to, in his poetic way, describing when Rasulullah became a Nabi. What is the level, what is the honor of Rasulullah in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? He says he is that prophet, he was that prophet whom Allah ornamented his own arsh with his nur, with the nur of Rasulullah. He is that Prophet whom Allah ornamented his own arsh with his nur at a time when nothing in existence existed, meaning he also existed before the arsh existed. Here then he continues. He says, وَأَوْدَعَهُ مِن بَعْدُ فِي صُلْبِ آدَمٍ لِيَسْتَرْشِدَ الظُّلَّالَ بِهِ فِيهِ وَيَهْتَدُوا. Then he placed him into the progeny of Adam so that he becomes a form of guidance for all those who would have otherwise been misguided. Then he takes the peak, then he reaches the zenith of his belief, of his aqidah. He says, وَلَوْ لَمْ يَكُنْ فِي صُلْبِ آدَمَ مُودَعًا. He says, وَلَوْ لَمْ يَكُنْ فِي صُلْبِ آدَمَ مُودَعًا لَمَا قَالَ قِدَمًا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا. He says, by Allah, were he not placed into the progeny of Adam, was Rasulullah not blown into the progeny of Adam when Allah blew the ruh, Allah would have never ordered the angels to bow down in prostration. Here a man comes to Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam. Imam is talking to him about their honor, about their station. Imam said to him that Allah created Adam. Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, Allah created Adam and he ordered all the creations, and at that time the angels personified the peak of Allah's creation. He asked the angels to bow down in prostration to Adam except for us. The man is troubled. He said, Yabna Rasulillah, what do you mean except for us? Where were you? Were you there? Imam alayhi salam said, have you not read the Quran? In verse 75, chapter number 38 of the Holy Quran, Allah talks to Iblis. When Allah said to all the angels, bow down in prostration, what happened? They all went down in prostration into sujood, except for Iblis. Now Allah in verse 75, 38, chapter 38 talks to Iblis. He says, Ya Iblis, ما منعك ألا تسجد لما خلقت بيدي أستكبرت أم كنت من العالين. Oh Iblis, what stopped you from bowing down into prostration and complying to my demand, to my order? Have you become arrogant? Or do you think yourself from the aleen, from the lofty and the noble ones? Now coincidentally, if you look at the word aleen and you strip it down from the alif lam, alif lam in Arabic language, when you talk about a noun, it is to give emphasis to that name. For example, al-ard. Al-ard refers to earth, but alif lam means the earth. Al-insan. Al-insan refers to insan. But the alif lam is to emphasize that we are talking about the insan. Here Allah is saying, Am kunta min al-aleen. Strip away the alif lam, what do you see? Ain, alif, a, lam, ya, noon. Allah is saying, oh Iblis, have you become arrogant? Are you showing me arrogance? Or do you think you are one of those lofty ones, the aleen? Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam says, we are those aleen. Here Sayyid Rida al-Hindi says, what does he say in his poetry? He says, وَلَوْ لَمْ يَكُنْ فِي صُلْبِ آدَمَ مُودَعًا لَمَا قَالَ قِدَمًا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا. But if Allah was not going to place Rasulullah into the progeny of Adam, He would have never ordered the angels to bow down into prostration for Adam. It is as if He is saying that it was in honor of Rasulullah that Allah ordered the angels and all His creation to bow down in prostration. One more couplet of poetry. Then he says, وَلَوْلَاهُ لَمَا قُلْنَا وَمَا قَالَ أَحَدٌ لِمَالِكِ يَوْمِ الدِّينِ إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ. He says, were it not for him, nor me, nor you, nor anyone else in this existence would have ever said to the Lord of the Day of Judgment, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ, we only worship you. He is here saying, referring that the guidance of the entire human race from Adam till the Day of Judgment was accustomed or was completed or was compiled and embodied in Rasulullah. It is because of him that Adam was guided. It is because of him that the last man on this earth will be guided. This is Rasulullah. The final point that I want to take from Rasulullah's life and the life of Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam and draw a lesson for me and you to try and apply into our lives. When we look at the life of Rasulullah and Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, we notice many miracles that we can talk about. We can talk about various things. But the greatest achievement of Rasulullah was that in the span of 23 years, 23 years, never forget this, my brothers and sisters. In 23 years, this single man was able to bring about the greatest revolution on the face of this earth. He took the human race to levels never seen before. Millenniums had passed. Prophets after prophets had come. Yet nobody was able to unlock the human mind and allow it to progress to such a level. Not only that, he brought the greatest system in this world. He brought the greatest economy system in this world. In various levels he achieved success, the ripple effects of which can be seen till today, until the day of judgment. Similarly, when we look at the life of Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, the time of Imamat of Imam al-Sadiq was 36 years. Some say 34. Between 34 and 36 years, Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam's Imamat was there. In that generation, some say 25 years is equivalent to a generation being born. In 23 years, Rasulullah, and in 36 years, Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, what they were able to part away with to this world, the ripple effects of that will never end. Even after the day of judgment, the benefits that the kainat will draw from the teachings and the lessons that we take from Imam al-Sadiq and Rasulullah are never ending. And we will see the benefits of these for eternity. Even when people go to paradise, the benefits of what Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam and Rasulullah had left in this world will still be tasted in paradise and beyond. And so they have been able to achieve this in the mere time of 23 to 30 years. Now somebody might say, but these were ma'soomeen. Because we clearly have pre-recorded in our voicemails, ma'soom. Anything that anybody says about imams or Rasulullah, they were ma'soom. They cannot be copied, or they cannot be, we cannot take lessons from them. Let us forget about ma'soomeen. 30, 40 years ago, a man stood up in Iran. And they said to him, oh, Imam Khomeini, they said to him, oh Ruhullah, you are standing up against, do you know who you're standing against? You're standing up against one of the greatest powers in the world. The Iranian army was a superpower in the Middle East. And so it was an army that was reckoned with in the world. It was an army of such, you in which army will you stand against? How can you stand against this man? You know what his reply was? He said, my army is in the womb of their mothers. 30 years later, 30 years, remember we're talking about 23, 30 years. 30 years later, he brought about that great revolution. The ripple effects of that we are testing today. We are still tasting today. Okay, that was a generation away from us. Let us talk about now. A man whom we have greatly oppressed. Who? Ibrahim Yaqub al-Zaqzaqi. Inspired by Imam al-Khomeini. In 1980, Ibrahim bin Yaqub al-Zaqzaqi, who is now age 62. So 30 years ago he would have been in his 30s, a young man, goes to Nigeria. And according to Wikipedia, and we might believe, we might not believe Wikipedia, but that is the source I have taken the information from. Wikipedia writes, this man single-handedly introduces Shia Islam to Nigeria. I don't know, you want to believe that or not? Wikipedia says he introduced Shia Islam to Nigeria. The same Wikipedia says the population of Muslims in Nigeria is 60 million. Today the population of Muslims of Shias in Nigeria is 5% of the Muslims. Do the maths. Single-handedly, in 30 years, one man, by sacrificing his time and his effort, and lately his family and his own blood, was able to convert 3 million people to the way of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. We are not talking about hundreds of years here. We're talking about 30 years. 30 years. And by Allah, this great man has been oppressed by you and I. at many levels. Not only have these people suffered at the hands of the world in terms of slavery, just because the sun had discolored their skin. But Islam has no place for this. When we come and learn from Rasulullah and Imam as-Sadiq, what do we see? Rasulullah turned out of the slave Bilal into alayhi salam. Today when we say Bilal, we say alayhi salam. Rasulullah would say, Arihna ya Bilal, oh Bilal, you are my mu'adhin. Your voice brings peace and tranquility to my heart. Do we understand what the meaning of that is? Rasulullah turned out of a slave, a black man, Miqdad, into a man who attained the station that no one in the companions of Rasulullah attained. He was amongst the 4 who were honored by Imam as-Sadiq, and they were known as Hawariyin of Rasulullah, the disciples of Rasulullah. The ranks of Salman and Abu Dhar, Miqdad was number 3. Miqdad, a black slave. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam turned out of the black servant Joan into a man which Imam al-Sadiq, whose birth anniversary we are celebrating today. He stands up in front of his grave and he says, Bi Abi anta wa ummi, O Joan, O black slave Joan, may my immaculate father, Ma'soom father, and I and my mother be ransomed for you, be sacrificed for you. The skin makes no difference in Islam. And indeed in the madhab of Ahl al-Bayt. A man who achieves such greatness, 3 million people single-handedly, after sacrificing 3 of his sons, after taking bullets on his chest and being dragged in the street. His wealth was usurped, his land is usurped, he is terrorized in every form of the way, in every way of the word. Yet he achieves the conversion of 3 million people to the way of the Ahl al-Bayt. If that is not imdad ilahi and help